Hello there, Internet. Fellow warriors of adventure-y, lighty stuff. I have no idea where that intro is going. It was so unclear in my head when I started speaking. The Doman delegates. Looks like this is the one that's going to involve Hien. The Doman delegate is seeking able-bodied adventurers on behalf of Lord Hien. Unfortunately, there were none available, so we're asking Demajen instead. Do mine eyes deceive me? Lady Demajen. Oh, thank the Kami. Lord Hien has requested assistance in the resolution of a most urgent matter, the hunt for a fell beast believed to be a blasphemy. Though we have made great strides in ensuring the safety of our people, we fear even our finest shinobi will be no match for this enemy, for it commands the skies of Doma. But as your talent for striking down foes at a distance is beyond compare, I can think of no one better to aid us in overcoming this adversary. 'Twould be my pleasure. Probably. Oh, Kami be praised. I shall inform Lady Yugiri that she may receive you at the Doman Enclave. Safe travels, Lady Demajen. It should be noted that I am not a very good bard. At least, I don't think I am. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. In fact, for the last 9 levels or so, I felt like I'm doing something wrong. Every time I've been in a leveling dungeon, unless it's a really low level one, I just feel like there's a trick or something that I'm missing. You know, I've read my tooltips, I've got a vague understanding of what I'm supposed to be doing, but every higher level dungeon run I've done seems to drag a little bit, and that tends to boil down, in my general experience, to me as a DPSer. So, I don't know. It is good to see you, Demajen. When we received word that you of all people had answered our call, I could scarcely believe it. Yet here you are. It's nice to see you again, Yugiri. Lord Hien will be pleased for this reunion. If you'd wait here a moment. Just use a link pearl to get in touch with... Well, that the Kami should guide your steps to our door once more, and with such fortuitous timing. Pray, forgive me for not affording you a hero's welcome, but time is not on our side. Not long after receiving word of men transforming into hideous beasts in Thavnir, a similar creature was born of a woman in Isari. After attacking another villager, it took to the skies and fled, though to where we know not. In an all too cruel twist of fate, for the one slain was among the prisoners returned to us in that deplorable exchange with Asahi and the Empire, just when they had at last begun to piece their lives back together. This blasphemy must be stopped. Alas, our foe is wont to keep to the skies, well beyond the reach of our samurai and shinobi. Thus did we seek the aid of those proficient in range combat, able to pluck the beast from the heavens. Of course, martial prowess alone will not solve our problems. Others have turned into weaker but no less gruesome abominations, as was the case in Thavnir, and their numbers increased by the day. From what I understand, this phenomenon is not unlike sickness, which spreads by feeding on fear and anxiety, emotions which, of late, can be found in abundance. Slaying the beast means nothing if the people's hearts cannot be put at ease. Lord Hien! You have to help. The villagers, they... Sir, please, calm yourself and tell us what happened. Another has been turned into mine, my lord. For a blessing, no one was harmed when the beast flew into a rage, but the people are in a panic. I fear what may happen next. It would seem we have even less time than I thought. But we not, we will see to the beast. As of yet, there is no cure for this affliction, but we will save what lives we can, I promise you. I trust you are ready to join the fray? Odd. Yes. It was last seen near the glittering basin. Come, I'll show you. Not again. I've often wondered, for my videos, if some of the little kind of visual things that other YouTubers do, you know, like putting little bits of text on, like with where I say nod, I put like asterisk nod asterisk over the character's head or something funny like that. I just don't know whether that's the thing that people enjoy. I find it really amusing, but it's not like laugh out loud. Without a cure, we've no choice but to cut them down before they can cause more harm. Let me know in the comments below whether that's something hilarious that people would find amusing or whether it would just be a waste of my time. Still no sign of the beast. Or any other for that matter. The beast was right here, I swear it. I thank you for leading us here, but it is not safe. Please, return to your village. Which probably doesn't have any walls and wouldn't be safe against a beast of the sky anyway. Did I say that out loud? Guys, I seem to be right in the middle here. We should split up if we're to have any chance of finding it. Demajen, would you see to the west? I will search in the north. Yugiri, I leave the east to you. If you find it, remember, these blasphemies are no longer people. They will not hesitate to strike you down, so you mustn't either. Now, let us not waste any more time. I assume the village is to the south. Or, no, the basin's to the south, isn't it? Whereabouts are we? Oh, yes. Those aren't blasphemies. Those are birds. Oh, that's a player. Ooh, hold on. I see something happening here. I really like the design of these things. It's the three eyes. Aiding. Are you all right? We heard shouting and came as fast as we could. I wasn't shouting. It would appear Demajen arrived not a moment too soon. Why? Why did you kill my brother? Your brother? Young man, that creature was not your kin, not anymore. Had she not laid it to rest, it would have killed you and countless others. But if your heart cries out for one to blame, let it be me. The beast was slain at my behest, for it was the only way. Oh, no, you're wrong. You killed him, murdered him. I hate you. Yeah, difficult to deal with. You see? What are you doing here? Searching for Tombo, though clearly you found him first. The monster was his older brother, as you may have guessed, and Tombo gave chase the moment it ran off. I beg you forgive him for his outburst. His brother was all he had left. Their father was conscripted by the Empire and was, regrettably, not among those returned to us in the recent exchange of prisoners. The hope they might one day be reunited was their only comfort when the Viceroy still ruled. I can only imagine how they felt when she walked into Asari, a shadow of her former self. Sio may have no memories of the monster she was, but her victims still see her in their dreams. Nevertheless, like many of the brothers prayed your mercy would see their family restored. But then they learned of her death, and of their father's absence. Deprived of hope and hate all at once, they had nothing. My apologies for rambling. No, it was a rather enlightening tale. I spared the woman who brought him pain and took the brother who brought him comforts. I would hate me too. I swear I will set things right for Tombo, for all the people of Doma. Please, return home, Issa, and be safe. I love the dilemma of people in power on the side of, you know, good and right in this game, because they always have to make difficult choices. And that's what makes for good conflict and drama in storytelling. Let us return to the Demajen Enclave. This ordeal has given me much to consider. Yeah, we know, because we've seen firsthand what the blasphemies can do. We know that they have to be put down. There is no cure. You know, the ether that made them what they are is completely gone. It's 100% absent. There's no way of restoring it to them. And that's the simple bit of the storytelling for these role quests. It's everything that comes around that fact. The people that they used to be, the context of the lands in which we are hunting them down, and finding out what is going on with them. You know, that's what makes them such rich storytelling opportunities. Why is there an unlock quest there? Why is there an unlock quest there? One second, I'm going to Google that. Oh, it's for the Namazu crafter quest line, which I never bothered doing because I don't have a crafter. I don't have any crafting whatsoever. I really do wish, actually, that I had even the slightest amount of inclination to do crafting in this game. But I don't. It's one of those things that I keep looking at and thinking, oh god, I could, if I got really into crafting, I could make so much money. But it's like, well, I don't use money for anything in this game. I've got like 14 million gil just from playing the game for however many years I've played it. I do not envy Lord Hien the burden now thrust upon him, but he shall not have to bear it alone. I owe you a great debt for your timely assistance, and an apology for I've made you an executioner in young Tombo's eyes. Would that I had been the one who witnessed cut down the beast his brother had become. But we haven't time to dwell on regrets and what should have been. No, we need to take action. And after hearing of Tombo and his brother, I believe I know what must be done. A great many of our brothers and sisters who returned to us in the prisoner exchange returned to us in the prisoner exchange, but even so, there are those who yet remain lost to us. Meanwhile, Yotsuyo, who was directly responsible for much of our people's suffering, was never held to account for her crimes. In death, she claimed vengeance for her suffering at the hands of her brother, but it came at the expense of justice for her countless victims. The people of Dome have every right to resent me for failing them, and their grief. But what of those who cannot bring themselves to do even that, who are left alone with their anger and their pain? It may well give way to despair, and then... They would share the same fate as Tombo's brother, yes. Which is why we must needs consider who else might share in his anguish, ere we find ourselves beset by more beasts. I will begin making rounds to the villages to inquire after those whom their neighbours believe are more distressed of late. Very good. I and the other shinobi shall continue our search for the blasphemy which set these events in motion. And you, my friend, we will have need of your talents again ere long. Rest assured, we will keep you appraised of our findings. Onwards, level 86, when the calming answer. Lord Hien's extended absence from the Enclave does not sit well with Yugiri. Ah, Demajen, we have yet to ascertain the whereabouts of the blasphemy from Isari, but, for a blessing, we have received no reports of others that have turned. Lord Hien, for his part, has made a concerted effort to go about the villages and converse with his subjects directly. I suspect his constant presence has served to allay the people's fears. As one might expect, he has ever been dedicated and diligent, but I fear he has been away over long. I thought to go and visit what should have been his last destination, Isari. Might I ask you to accompany me? Thank you. I am sure there is no cause for concern, but nevertheless I should be glad to find him quickly. That's quite the outfit. I like the makeup too. Nicely done. Search for Hien in Isari. Interesting, Hien is here. Thank goodness we found him. But why has he remained here so long, I wonder? Demajen, Yugiri. My apologies if I gave you cause for concern. Assessing the state of affairs here in Asari has proven difficult. To put it simply, the people, one and all, refuse to speak with me. They simply bow their heads and turn away at my approach. Knowing the blasphemy originated here, I cannot help but wonder if that has aught to do with their silence. Perhaps you could attempt to engage with the people in my stead? Surely they have no cause to deny the two of you. I should hope not. Nevertheless, I will don a disguise, lest I draw undue attention. Come, Demajen, let us see what we can discover. Thank you, both of you. When are you going to put this disguise on? Ah. She's used her mystical ninja fade into darkness utility. Hello, burly villager. I owe a great debt to Lord Ien. If not for him, I'd still be fighting under the Imperial standard. But the village suffered dearly under the occupation. What's more, our lord failed to punish the Viceroy for her crimes and failed to reunite many with their loved ones. I understand why some would think poorly of him, even if I do not. A blasphemy? You're mistaken, my friend. Our village was visited not by a monster, but a kami. It's an army. Where Lord Hien is cold and callous, she offers us boundless compassion and love. Oh. Aye, that's right. Blasphemy was born of a young woman here in Asari. Tragic, really. Every day she prayed for the safe return of her husband, but it was not to be. If I'm to be honest, I fear the loss drove her poor stepmother mad. Kisei has ever been a devout believer in the kami and their blessings, but she's somehow convinced herself that Minato has become one. The delusions of a grieving parent, obviously, but an alarming number of people have come to share in her belief. Heresy is what it is. Ah. Yugiri has indeed disguised herself. The situation here in Asari is complicated, to say the least. Yeah. I see. Little wonder they would refuse to confide in me. The belief held by some that this blasphemy is a kami, however, is quite concerning. It's an army presides over life and death. She gave birth to the nation of Doma, and ushers souls of the departed unto the land of the dead. I trust you understand what it would mean to deny them a source of hope in such dark times, even one such as this. The villagers also claim this Kisei can speak with the dead. In fact, she will be holding a gathering to demonstrate her powers ere long. Ah, the perfect opportunity to gauge the extent of their fanaticism. Not for me, of course. My presence would draw undue attention. Might I ask you both to attend in my stead? Odd. Her followers will be gathering in the tavern. Come. Oh. Oh, spirits of Asari, I beseech you, lend me your voice, and let your presence be known. Cross the veil, and be among us once more. Agitsu. Father? Still tending the nets, like I taught you. Yes, Father, every day. Thanks to you, we never want for fish. Our bellies are never empty. I am proud to be your son. I was always too embarrassed to tell you before, but... And I am proud to have been your father. May you ever be blessed by the sea's bounty. It hurts. Father, what's wrong? is in terrible pain, my child. Those who have cheated death's design yet live. It has disrupted the natural order, and the spirits suffer for it. What must we do to ease their pain? Fear not. Izanami shall put all to rights. She will claim the souls not long for this world, and deliver them unto the hereafter. When her work is finished, your father's spirit and all the others find peace. Can you find my father? Can you help me speak with him? Kisei, can you commune with my husband? What about my family? Help me, Kisei, please. Is the truth to this or nay? Seances as a thing are, it's very interesting if you've looked at the, or studied, and I won't say that I've studied the psychology of seances, but I did a teensy bit of Googling for a scene that I wrote for a book, actually, that I never finished writing. But the psychology of seances and how people who are grief-stricken or feel like they left things unsaid, the lengths that they will go to convince themselves of things, such as seances, in order to get closure, is quite astounding. It's a very interesting insight into human psychology and the human condition. She seemed convincing enough, but was that truly Akichi's father that spoke through her? So, is Kisei's ability all that she claims? It's a good question. This is a fantasy game, so you never know. A young man spoke with his dearly departed father through her. I find that rather hard to believe. Even so, those in attendance appeared quite convinced, my lord. And I suspect a great many of the villagers I've spoken with recently are as well. Everywhere I went, the people were in so much pain, and there was nothing I could do or say to give them solace. Yet for all their anguish, there has not been a single report of villagers turning since the incident with Tombo's brother. Which can only mean word of Kisei and her ability to speak with the deceased has spread. The belief we can commune with our loved ones in death is a comfort far beyond my powers to provide. Though I fail to see how the people would abide the kami claiming innocent lives to restore order. She comes! Izanami! The blasphemy? Here? This will be interesting. It's kind of a pity that they can't do a curved path in cutscenes. They seem to have the ability to do straight lines and angles, and that's it. I feel like that's something they should fix. Lord Hian, the Kami, she appeared as if from nowhere, and in the next instant this poor man was... He did. So we were too late. Wasn't he one of the villagers returned in the prisoner exchange? You recognise him then? Curious that he and the blasphemy's first victim were former conscripts. What could the fiend be after, I wonder? Yeah, this was the guy that didn't hold the same beliefs. he could see why people were upset. It does not become my lord to speak ill of the Kami. I understand you are coming to investigate the rumours of a monster born in our village. A blasphemy, you called it. But you are sorely mistaken. My stepdaughter Minato was chosen to serve as a vessel for Izanami. I witnessed her ascension with my own eyes. Uh-oh! Echo! The Echo as storytelling device. Minato, please. I can't. I won't. There's no logic in it, no justice. The Witch of Doma spared, given a second chance, and my husband condemned to die as a conscript. I'll never know what became of him. Lord Hien can't give me even that. And when I look at the families he made whole at their happiness, I feel the hole in my heart, a gaping wound that will never heal, begin to bleed. Only at my beloved's side will I find peace. You mustn't lose faith, Minato. All will be well. Trust in the Kami, in Izanami. I want to believe, but it's one of these things. Izanami is come to bring peace to the souls of the departed, to restore balance between the world. I'm going to start that again. Izanami has come to bring peace to the souls of the departed, to restore balance between their world and ours. Surely you would not dare defy the will of the Kami? This balance you speak of has claimed the lives of two innocents, but recently returned to us. I will not accept that the Kami would condone such cruelty. This is revenge. No crueler than the sight of Yotsuyo free and forgiven while my husband and son fought Garlemald's wars, now dead and forgotten in a foreign land. With all due respect, Lord Hien, this is not your duty to protect Doma and her people. How are we to place our faith in the man who places the enemy's safety and well-being above that of his own subjects? Only the Kami are deserving of our adoration, as they have always been. Religious fanatics. She has developed a cult. And of course the people are not privy to the full ins and outs of Yotsuya's storyline. Are you alright? For a moment you seemed unwell. Has she not seen us use the Echo before? The villagers are no doubt loath to ask it of me, but preparations must be made for burials and funeral rites. I can offer that much at least. You seem distracted during our conversation with Kisei. Is something the matter? I saw it all! The Echo. And the blasphemy was indeed born of her stepdaughter. To bear witness to such horror, how her mind must have struggled to comprehend what she saw. And as a woman of faith, perhaps her only surviving family becoming one with the divine was the only reality with which she could come to terms. I believe I know now what must be done. I but pray her fervour does not drive her to oppose us. Come, let us return to the Enclave. What do you suppose Lord Hien intends to do? I don't know. From what you told me of your vision, the nature of Minato's despair, as well as the focus of her ire, is clear. 'Tis plain she was a good-natured and kind-hearted woman, grieving for the loss of her husband. The loss alone may not have been enough to turn her, but my failure to hold Yotsuyo to account, together with the sight of other families reunited, compounded the turmoil in her broken heart. A path to despair paved by my good intentions. The truth that will weigh heavy on my conscience until my dying day. Minato was prepared to die in sadness rather than live in hatred. If she could see the beast she has become, she would implore us to stop her. Which is why we must find the others who were returned to us in the prisoner exchange before they come to harm. Once their safety is assured, we may hunt down the blasphemy and bring a close to this tragedy. So we're going to end up protecting the former conscripts. Makes sense, really. Level 87 quest. Home no longer. There is work to be done, yet Yugiri appears reluctant to take action. Ah, Demajen. If you have come to ask after the blasphemy, I have naught to share. As of yet, our shinobi have seen no signs of the beast. The returnees, however, are all accounted for, and Lord Hien has seen them safely to the Kenken. As such, he is presently assisting with the hunt. For a blessing, there have been no reports of other villagers turning. And yet, before this situation takes a turn for the worse, there is a matter I feel warrants further investigation. Kisei. Though a villager of Isari, I suspect she may in fact hail from my home, Suinosato. Knowing they would be loath to answer my inquiries, I entreated the Kojin to contact Suinosato in my stead. Dear Televis, Princess Kurenai has made great strides in establishing stronger ties with the outside world. At mention of Kisei, however, their cordial warmth turns strangely cold. If we are to learn more, I fear we have little choice but to go and speak with the people of Suinosato ourselves. A simple visit for you, I imagine, but my banishment complicates matters. That said, it has been many years since I left home. Were I to disguise myself, I might well go unnoticed in your company, if you're willing to take the risk. Yeah. Thank you. Let us make for Onokuro then. I don't remember that particular detail of Yugiri's, the fact that she was from Suinosato. But to be fair, it's been a while since Stormblood. Let's see what she has to say. Not much of a disguise, Yugiri. The garments I wore when we first met. Sufficient, I think, to conceal my identity. If you put the hood up, maybe. How many years has it been since last I saw home? I am a shinobi of Doma, aye, but even as a child I sought to ensure the safety and survival of Suinosato. I was quite bold in those days, if not a touch reckless, and together with the other children I often ventured beyond the borders of home. We yearned for adventure, and so one day we sought to behold the wonders of Doma. Imagine our horror to discover a city of ruin and ash, Imperial soldiers marching through the streets. We fled at the sight, but in my haste I lost my way in the bamboo groves. It was there I first met a young boy named Shun, a sweaty mess as he swung his wooden sword with reckless abandon, training to fulfill his duty as a samurai, he said. Having seen the destruction of which the Empire was capable, I too felt the need to protect my home. I joined him in his exercises, and every day my resolve to protect those I love grew. Sadly, my elders refused to listen. They were content to remain hidden beneath the waves, and hopefully the Empire's notice. With a heavy heart I left in search of the strength I believed we sorely needed, and I found it as a shinobi. But the people feared war and conflict would follow on my heels should I return. I do not begrudge them their decision, nor do I regret mine own. Part of me is overjoyed at the thought of seeing home again. Openly defying the wishes of the Ruby Princess, however, would bode ill for my family. I have suffered enough for my transgressions. Don't we have at least a little bit of sway with the Ruby Princess, what with having done stuff for her? That is why, for their sake, I would remain naught but a faceless shinobi at your employ. Thank you. With that in mind, let us make for Suino Sato. I suspect she's going to get recognised anyway. But a nice little bit of world building, nevertheless. See, I think they're going to be able to tell who you are because you've got your name above your head. All these years, yet naught appears to have changed since the day I left. Now is not the time to reminisce. We have work to do. Kisei's departure from Suino Sato was likely decades ago. Perhaps the village elders will know why she chose to leave. Yugiri is now accompanying you. Okay. What's the map button on here? Doesn't look like we've got any thingy bubbles to talk to. Kisei? The name sounds familiar, and yet... Oh, apologies, friend. My memory is not what it once was. Let us seek out another. You're cheerful, Elder. My, it has been quite some time since I last heard that name. She was a priestess of the village, banished after drawing the ire of the former Ruby Princess. What has become of her after all these years, I wonder? Please, is there anything else you can tell us? Yanagi was quite close with her, if memory serves. Perhaps you should seek her out. Mother, I'd hoped to avoid my parents, but if there's no other way... Demajen, might I ask you to take the lead? That's awkward. So Yanagi is Yugiri's mother. Interesting. And therefore bound to recognise us. I say, are you not the adventurer who aided Yugiri in Doma's liberation? So you remember who Yugiri is then? No, that's... No. It is good to see you again. To what do we owe the honour of your visits? Kisei, yes, we were close, but that was a long, long time ago. Still, if I can be of assistance to the woman to whom we owe so much, I will share all I know. Kisei was born to a family of priests, and even at an early age she was possessed of extraordinary abilities. Much was expected of her. Everything changed the day she said she could speak with the dead. No one believed her at first, but she continued to insist she could, and strove to prove it by demonstrating knowledge well beyond her years, knowledge of events to which she could not have been privy. Word of her talent eventually reached the Ruby Princess, and she was summoned to Shishui of the Violet Tides for private audience. No one knows what Kisei said to her in that palace, only that the princess was incandescent with rage, and ordered her exile forthwith. Some believe Kisei revealed a terrible secret to the royal house, or perhaps spoke a blatant falsehood that proved her a liar. Indeed, the knowledge she claimed to divine from the dead was not always truthful. But who is to say the dead would know the truth, or not seek to deceive? Thus could we never be certain if it was simply a fantasy or a power divine. The one thing that is certain is that no small number of people found comfort in her words. Would that I could tell you more, but sadly I have not seen or spoken with Kisei since her banishment.
Subtle.
Forgive me, but have we met your companion before? She looks familiar.
I imagine she does, because she... No.
Ah, is that so? For the briefest of moments you reminded me of someone quite dear to my heart. Being a shinobi, I presume you have heard tales of Yugiri Mistwalker. Should you have a chance to meet her, may I ask you to deliver her a message? Tell her that her mother and father love her, that we could not be more proud of her. I will. I have no doubt she feels the same, and not a day goes by without you in her thoughts. I believe we have heard enough. Shall we turn to Onokoro?
A subtle scene. One which shows both parties know exactly what is going on. And know that they cannot nor should do anything about it.
My apologies for placing you in so peculiar a situation. I must confess it did my heart good to see mother and father well. All the more reason I must do all I can to keep the peace. As a shinobi of Doma? No. As a member of the Eastern Alliance. I hope there will come a day when Suno Sato opens to the world. A day when Yugiri Mistwalker can be reunited with her mother and father. Would that Lord Hien could be afforded the same opportunity. But Lord Kyan and Lady Mina have long since passed. Two of too many lives lost in the Imperial occupation. I cannot imagine he would ever succumb to despair. But make no mistake, Lord Hien knows the pain of his people all too well. I can see it in his eyes, and if I may be honest, it troubles me at times. But perhaps I have said too much. Come, we mustn't keep him waiting.
Gosh, an element of tragedy in Final Fantasy XIV. Who would have thought it? I jest, of course, flippant as I may be with that. Welcome back. I trust your journey proved an enlightening one. Oh yes, very. So she does, in fact, hail from Suno Sato. You say she has possessed these divine gifts since childhood? Genuine or no, the people believe her, and more flock to her side with every passing day. But the returnees are safe at the Kenken, its defences bolstered. As for the blasphemy, I have spoken with our Confederate allies, among others, and together we will establish a network of contacts across the length and breadth of Doma to take up the search in earnest. Mark my words, we will find it. I say. Level 88, the Devoted Daughter. Yugiri appears armed and ready to leave the Enclave, which can only mean one thing. You've arrived not a moment too soon. The blasphemy has been sighted on the coast. For mercy, there are no reported casualties as of yet. Just the woman I was hoping to see. No sooner had we cast wide our nets than a Confederate messenger was at our door. If you'd join us, Vasho awaits our arrival at Anokoro.
Hello, Vasho. Well now, that the noble Lord of Doma should come in person once again. Perhaps these blasphemies truly are a threat.
Indeed they are. I was told you and yours sighted our quarry quite recently.
Aye, that we did, near the islands of Shoal Rock. The beast appeared to be docile by all accounts, but appearances can be deceiving. If it is as you say, and this blasphemy is eyes only for former conscripts, then we have naught to fear. I trust those we accepted into our care are still in yours at the Kinkin, enjoying the finest Doman hospitality. Anyway, I don't know why it came to the Ruby Sea, nor why it remains idle, but if we act quickly, there's a chance we can take it unawares.
I propose we divide our forces. If you're willing to go ashore, we'll take the ship and circle around the islands. The first to find it will have the honour of the kill.
Huh. A simple enough plan. Shall we be off to Shoal Rock then?
Bada bada bada. Make ready, Demajen. Should we find the beast first, we must be prepared to strike at once.
This is where the blasphemy was last sighted. If the fates are kind, this will all be over soon.
Now, we know it's not going to be over soon because this is the level 88 quest.
Hi. That's awkward. Damn.
Such speed. I doubt even my falcons could keep pace with it.
Bah.
Don't tell me that's the blasphemy flying off into the distance.
I hope the ill will it bore me in life might compel the beast to stay and fight. Perhaps less of Minato remains than I thought.
Minato? That monstrosity was Minato?
You knew her?
Her family tried to flee to Hingashi during the occupation, but their ship was rallied and sunk. When we happened upon the wreckage, she was huddled between her parents on a piece of flotsam, desperate to keep warm, but they'd long since grown cold. We took her to Wanakoro, where we nursed her back to health. Couldn't imagine what horrors she must have witnessed. The mere sight of our weapons was enough to make her start screaming. She was clearly unfit for our trade, so we sought a village that might take her in. Isari was that village. Several months ago, I chanced to meet her on this very beach. She was in the company of a young Aoi fisherman. I knew at once she'd found more than a home there. I saw them here many times after that. She found something comforting about this place, I think. According to reports from Vazat Han, the memories and desires of those who turn can influence the behaviour as blasphemies. Then perhaps Minato's memories are what compelled the beast to come here. That would also explain its timid nature. Minato was never one for violence, and the sight of you, blade drawn, no doubt stirred what little of the wound remains in the monster. If that is the case, an assault on if that is the case, an assault on the Kyenkin is unlikely, guarded as it is by our samurai. But how are we to fight an enemy so quick to flee at the first sign of danger? Maybe we don't need to fight it. Robbed of her parents, her husband, and now her life, I'd rather we didn't have to at all. But I understand full well the risk we take by doing nothing. If we catch sight of the blasphemy again, you will be the first to know. Perhaps next time we can put her soul to rest. Yeah, you gotta feel sorry for her. We're all involved. We scarcely had time to draw our weapons ere it fled. Perhaps we must reconsider our approach. Yeah, we need some kind of trap. There's naught to do now but bide our time. Come, let us return to the Enclave. If the blasphemy fears to show itself, there is no telling how long it may take to track it down a second time. Indeed. Given what we have learned, it seems likely that the blasphemy will return to Shoal Rock, but that knowledge will avail us naught if we cannot prevent it from escaping again. Oh, here we go. Lord Hien, on behalf of the people of Asari, we are come with a request. We welcome you with open arms and open hearts. What is it you would ask of me? Those returned to us in the prisoner exchange have been granted shelter at the Kyenkin. That they yet live is an affront to the Kami's grand design, and the spirits of our loved ones suffer for it. Balance must needs be restored, and so I beseech you to render them unto the goddesses Anami. Absolutely not. It is not our place to pray for the deaths of others, nor draw steel to sate mere bloodlust. When I take a life, be it by command or my own hand, I do so not in service to vengeance, but to uphold my duty to Doma and her people. How did your merciful Yotsuyu serve your duty? How were your people made better by the sight of her walking free? For her crimes and her cruelty, I cut her down the day we took Doma Castle. I sought to kill her, and by rights she should have died then and there. But the Kami willed otherwise, and returned her to us alive and bereft of her memories. With no recollection of her deeds, it would have been Shio who faced punishment, not Yotsuyo. This was my judgment, and for it you were denied the justice you deserved. You have every right to resent me. But you come before me and ask that I sacrifice men and women whose only crime was to suffer, to be condemned to a life of servitude. If you truly believe your cause to be sacrosanct, believe yourselves fit to bear the burden and swing the sword, then step forward. Sophistry and lies. They were meant to die. The spirits demand it. Are these the words of the dead, or the living who yet mourn? Oh, it's Gosetsu. Words of the Asari priestess and her gifts have spread far and wide, and I thought to see the truth of it myself. By coincidence, I crossed paths with a traveller hailing from the selfsame village who had a mind to return as well, but alas could not, and so he bid me deliver a missive in his stead. Judging by the striking resemblance, I take it you are the young fisher Akitsu. This is a letter from my father, who was severely wounded in battle but expects to make a full recovery. He's alive, but that would mean... Ha-ha! Surely a woman of your talents can divine a plausible explanation for this turn of events. You shall pay for this contumely? What the hell does that mean? To Google. Let me Google that for all of us. Contumely. Insolent or insulting language or treatments. I've literally never heard that word before in my life. And I'm pretty good with words. My daughter will make certain of that. Well, that's the way you break a cult. And yet they'll just walk off. Contumely. I wonder how many people watched this cutscene and didn't look it up. Ah, Gosetsu. You look... Apologies for the abrupt and otherwise unannounced arrival. As you can see, my Lord Hien, I am returned. Well, glad am I for it. Thanks to your timely arrival, we have given the lie to Kisei's claims of preternatural powers. I gather you are apprised of recent events? Aye. It did not take long to learn the state of affairs here in Doma, and that my assistance may be required. I'd heard tales of Kisei channeling the dead, including the father of one young fisherman. I imagined my surprise when I saw this spirit in the flesh. He was also on pilgrimage, paying respects to the departed, and we chanced to meet in the Liberation Front infirmary. Would that we were not brought back together under such circumstances, but I am glad to see you all hale and hearty. Gosetsu is so big. He's back. Hello, small child. Donbo, is something the matter? I wish to apologize, Lord Hien. It was wrong of me to say the things I said. I understand nothing can bring back my father, but I was so angry Please, Tombo, you needn't apologize. It's just... my brother was always so brave, but father's deaths were more than he could bear, and it turned him into that monster. If he wasn't brave enough, what chance do I have? We wanted to perform the rites for father, but the body was never returned to us, so... Not that I blame you for that, Lord Hien. I understand nothing can be done. That Akitsu's father survived is nothing short of a miracle, but I fear he is indeed the rare exception. I have offered prayers at more graves than I can count. It might be cruel to give others the false hope that their loved ones might return. And yet Kisei continues to do just that, offering comfort with her lies. A tempting but ephemeral balm for wounds that have yet to heal. Much like the anger some harbour for you or resentment for the families restored while theirs remains broken. But for those like that poor boy whose hearts lack for hatred, who know only sadness and despair, aye, they too may turn. Exposing the truth of Kisei's deception hasn't helped matters. If we are to prevent more suffering, we must pursue a lasting solution. I'd be most grateful for your counsel, Gosetsu. There is much I could learn from your pilgrimage. If there is aught you require, but say the word, and it shall be done. It is the least I can do for the part I played in Yotsu's tragedy. I failed her in the end. I will not fail you, my lord. Thank you again for your aid, Demajen. The day's events have given me much to consider. When our next step is decided, you will be the first to know. Level 89, a singular gift. Yugiri's stern expression suggests he has no good news to share. Regrettably, there have been no sightings of the blasphemy since our first encounter at Shoal Rock. As Tansui surmised, it seems to fear confrontation. We, for our part, have tried to make good use of this intervening calm. Even now, Lord Hien and Gosetsu discuss how we might prevent other villages from turning. If you'd wait here a moment, he would no doubt wish to hear your thoughts on the matter. Demajen, so glad you could come. As Yugiri no doubt explained, the blasphemy continues to elude us, and so we have turned our attention to other matters we can and should address. After long discussions and much deliberation, we believe we have found a means to allay the growing malaise of our people. If you would, Gosetsu? The idea came to us after considering young Tombo's remarks about his father, whose body was never found and returned to Doma. Others no doubt share in his melancholy, unable to bury and mourn their loved ones as is their right. But simply they cannot make peace with their loss. Their anguish, if left to linger, may consume them as well. That we might provide the people of Doma with comfort and closure, we will hold a national funeral at the Swallow's Compass. Ah, this is going to get attacked, isn't it? Those who choose to attend will be asked to present personal effects of the deceased they wish to be enshrined there. Spirits reside in all things, be they living or inanimate, and though we may die, a part of us lives on in the items we cherished most in life. Therefore, in lieu of remains, these belongings will be afforded a place in the Royal Mausoleum, that the spirits of those lost to us may find their way home to Doma, and at last know peace. The announcement has already been made, and a great many people are now engaged in the difficult task of deciding which keepsake will serve as their offering. It is not a decision to be made lightly, but I suspect they will have made up their minds by the time we go to collect their chosen tokens. I also hope to learn more about the departed from those willing to speak with me, for my benefit and for theirs. To break free of their sorrow, they must seek joy in the memories, and the love they shared with the departed, and I will help them find it. Might the Liberator of Doma be willing to favour the people with her presence as well? I doubt not that they will appreciate the gesture. Good. Yugiri, I leave the people of Isara to you. Gosetsu, might I ask you to... apologies, my lord, but there is a small but most urgent matter I must first attend to. Huh? Very well, I shall not pry. Now, Demajen, let us go and pay a visit to the good people of Namai. Gosetsu? Lord Hien. Right then, before we begin, I would remind you that you need only listen to the tales of their loved ones. As overseer of the ceremony, I see it as my duty to deliver their effects personally. Because of this, it is of the utmost importance that we keep clear of any beasts that might damage our cargo. It goes without saying how important it is that their offerings are delivered in pristine condition, and I will be no good to you in a fight while heavily encumbered. If stealth or fight are not options, I must ask that you fight for us both, but we needn't worry unless the occasion arises. For now, let us be off. Interesting. So it's going to be a proper escort quest. I must thank you again, Lord Hien, for this honour. My son would have been overjoyed to know that his katana would be enshrined at the Swallow's Compass. Nay, the honour is mine. I am sure your son was a fine warrior. Aye, so was I once upon a time. The samurai, as it happens, in service to your father when the Empire first invaded our lands. Though we were defeated, our spirits broken, my son Matsue was never one to lose hope. He was determined to follow in my footsteps, gave his everything to honing his skill with the blade. When I watched him train, I felt the pride I thought I'd forsaken swell in my breast, and I knew he would restore our family to its former glory. Alas. He could have fled, perhaps started life anew as a vagabond of some sorts. But he bore the burden and fought for Garlemald for fear of what the Imperials might do if he did not. 'Tis plain he was a loving son and a warrior true. I will care for his blade as if it were my own, see it given the honour and respect due a samurai of Doma. My husband, my dear sweet Maria, never returned from Garlemald, but perhaps now his soul might know peace. Please, take this painting brush to the Swallow's compass. I shall handle it with the utmost care. Might we trouble you to tell us more about your husband? Mavoya was a kind and gentle soul. There was nothing he loved more in the world than to create. That brush never left his side, not even when he tended the fields. Any spare moment was dedicated to his craft, and he produced the most wonderful vistas of Yangsha. It was his dream to take us to Kagane, where he would become a famous artist, until he was conscripted. In the early days, he would send drawings of the places they took him, though I know not how. More time began to pass between each arrival, and then they stopped coming altogether. I know not in what far-flung land he died, but I pray it was as beautiful as his works. He sounds like quite a man to hold fast to his art even when forced to endure such hardship. His soul will find peace, of that I have no doubt. The sorrow music, as I call it. I've no idea what the names of most of the... Oh, sorry, Hien. Oh, you've come with me. The sorrow music is a particularly emotive one. Oh no, Tombo. I realise it's quite large, but I wanted to offer this on behalf of my brother and our father, Suzushiro. If you are willing, I would very much like to hear more about them both. My father, he was a carpenter. He was a good man, if a bit stubborn, always thinking about his work. The only time he ever seemed to enjoy himself was when he had a cup of sake in his hand. When my brother came of age, he took up the trade as well. He brought them closer. I'd see them laughing over drinks together or listening in silence to the crickets singing under the moonlight. I wanted to join them one day. This was their favourite sake. I thought they might miss it. I am sure it will taste all the sweeter having come from you. I realise no one can ever replace your brother or father, but if you will allow, I would be honoured to share drinks with you in their stead, when you are of age, of course. This should be everything. Would you join me for a short reprieve before our journey back? Well, That was, as expected, rather emotional. Who is Hien? All the way over here, apparently. I don't know why I didn't fly then. Just kind of fell off the ledge. They put on brave faces, but the people of Lamaya are still racked with grief. It is the same at every village I have visited in recent days, but it is only now that I am struck by the contradictory nature of my goals. Having joined the Eastern Alliance and taken steps to revitalize the Enclave, I believed Doma was at last on the path to peace and prosperity. I still do. Yet by focusing so keenly on the future, I have neglected the past that yet haunts my people. Even if they do not give in to despair and become beasts that plague our land like poor Tombo's brother, how are we to truly move forward if we are constantly looking back? You speak of their haunted pasts, Lord Hien, but what of yours? Me? All things considered, I suppose it was only a matter of time before the subject was broached. Ha! She cuts to the heart of the matter, and the young lord. For the best, I should think, for he cannot lead by example if he has not yet made peace with his own past. I guessed right. 1,000 apologies, my lord. I was passing through, tending to the matters which I spoke earlier when I chanced to hear familiar voices in the distance. If I may be so bold, the people of Doma, one and all, understand the source of your pain. To lose your father in the turmoil of a failed rebellion, the staggering duty to the throne thrust upon you. Aye, how could you even begin to mourn when first you had to lead? It would behoove you to take part in the funeral rites, my lord. Take this time to make peace with your past while it is still yours to spend. Though unlikely, if not impossible, were you to become a monster as well, Doma would surely be lost. I thank you for your counsel, Gosetsu. But if I may ask, why is it you keep your blade at the ready? I thought this personal matter of yours to be naught but a trifle, or am I mistaken? Well, I find the katana a superior tool for peeling persimmons. Speaking of which, I do believe my stomach begs for sustenance, if you'll excuse me. Training. To help slay the blasphemy, no doubt. Fitting that he should offer me counsel, yet refuse to heed it in kind. He is not the warrior he once was, but he is wise, our obstinate friend. If I'm to be perfectly honest, it frightens me to recall it, the moment it all came crashing down. We'd taken Doma Castle. Victory was ours. Then we looked out and saw the banners of the 12th Legion marching towards us, the Crown Prince at the fore. No sooner had Gosetsu and I escaped than we received word that Xenos had slain my father. I remember how the fight went out of Gosetsu in an instant, how he wept for his lord while I felt the weight of the profound duty bear down upon my shoulders. Crushing, suffocating, the heat of my own breath, the chill of my clammy palms. But duty demanded I master my emotions. When all those around me, Gosetsu included, were consumed by anger and a thirst for vengeance, I had to be in control. Under my orders we dispersed and fled to fight another day. To this day I have not stopped to reflect on my father's death. How could I, devoted as I am to finding Doma's way forward? But now I must, and so, having taken you into my confidence, would you see this through with me, to journey's end? The keepsake I would offer up for the funeral is hidden in a place not easily reached. We will have to fly there, I'm afraid, but worry not. My yawl will ferry us. Just a moment. Where? The place we seek is Plum Spring in the mountains, shall we? There aren't many sections like this in FF14. This is much more a thing that they do in World of Warcraft. It's a bit jittery as well, actually. Maybe that's why they don't do it very often. Yes, I have been here before. I don't think it ever had a use, though, did it? Maybe it's used in a side quest or three. At least we actually had the ride there so we can see where it is. My parents would bring me here for Hanami as a child. Its beauty and serenity was such that I could forget the realities of the occupation. Indeed, some of my fondest memories of family are here, which is precisely why I chose this place to conceal the singular gift my father bequeathed to me as a child. A little monkey. Charming, is it not? The great auspice Kishin Dasheng said to reside somewhere along the Deryu chain. In those days, anyone and everyone knew the tales of his prowess. Reckless boy that I was, I once even tried to seek him out, hoping he might help us. I buried it here shortly after my coming of age ceremony. It seemed a fitting place to both part with my childhood and offer a final goodbye to my mother. More a keepsake of mine than his, to be sure, but he was never a man of worldly possessions. Still, I suspect he would allow himself a rare smile if we were to see it again after all these years. And that is precisely how I wish to bid him farewell, with a smile. It should go without saying, I prefer it not to become known that I kept this doll here. Wouldn't want the children to go jealous now, would we? And with that, I believe it is time we return to the Enclave. This whole quest line has been remarkably emotional. The two of you were away for quite some time. Is everything alright? I don't think this is going to get us quite enough XP, is it? There are yet more villages to visit and offerings to collect, but preparations are proceeding apace. Soon the people will have one less cause to be tempted down the path of despair. Of course, there still remains the problem of the blasphemy. The former conscripts will remain at the Kinkin until it has been dealt with. We will slay the beast in due time, but before that I would be honoured if you were present for the funeral rites. Pray speak with Yugiri when next you visit the Enclave, and she will tell you more of the proceedings. Yeah, I'm not going to have enough XP. Gasp. I'm going to have to go and do, how much do we need? A small chunk. Right, in that case... Song gauge expanded. Yugiri. Laid to rest. Level 90. Yugiri's somber expression suggests you have arrived right on time. As ever, your timing is impeccable. We but moments ago completed preparations for the funeral. I will I will inform Lord Hien of your arrival. You're here. Excellent. The blasphemy continues to shun our settlements, and I mean to make the most of the time its absence affords us. I assume you were planning to take part in the ceremony? Glad to hear it. Unfortunately, Gosetsu will not be joining us today. He has injured himself, as I knew he would with his secret training, and now grumbles from the confines of his bed. But he will be fine in due course. We may worry over his convalescence after the funeral. Silly Gosetsu. Oh, look! A solo duty. There was a peculiar-looking doll among the effects, but I can find no record of it in our stores. Would you happen to know who bought it? No idea, Yugiri. The villagers should arrive ere long, then we may begin. Laid to rest. Obviously, the blasphemy is going to attack during this. Oh, look who it is. Lord Hien, I apologize, my lord, for my past transgressions. I yearned to believe my daughter was a Kami reborn, but you were right. She is a monster. Words can ill express my shame for advocating the conscripts be sacrificed to appease the dead. Nay, this ceremony shall serve far better. And so, as a humble citizen of Doma, I offer my deepest gratitude and beg for your forgiveness. I would make an offering on behalf of my husband and son, as well as my dear stepdaughter Minato. I throw myself on your mercy, Lord Hien. Allow them a place within the mausoleum that their spirits may know peace. It's a trap. Possibly. There is no need to beg forgiveness, Kisei. Please rise. Surprise! She will come for you. Ew. By the Kami, she gave her life to draw out the blasphemy. Blasphemy is an army. Weirdly enough, not the entire piece of music. Straight into a fight, though. In this duty, you will play as Demajen. Well, guess there's nothing to it than that. So I want to get this new gauge. To 3, don't I? Ow! Bum bum! Ooh, let's get out of that.
For you, Father.
I assume Yugiri or Hien will heal me if and when necessary. Oh. Yeah, I want all three of these, don't I? Yeah. Stygian Whale.
Concentrate.
I'm taking quite a lot of damage. Can I get some heals? Does that affect everybody? I guess it does.
It is nothing.
I am receiving heals, but not much. Uh-oh. Oh, damn, I was too busy looking at the AoEs and let my buffs fall off. Not my buffs, my, Oh, stack on me, please. Thank you. Ow. Help. Help. Ow. Ah, scripted. I can't move. There we go. Phew. Gosetsu. Sling. Ooh. Apologies for the untimely arrival, my lord. Gosetsu? What is that staff? The pilgrimage proved a most enlightening experience, and is where I chanced to discover the benefits of ascetic training. I may no longer be fit to wield a blade, my lord, but Shugendu affords me another way to turn the tide of battle. He's become a priest. Huh? Stubborn as ever. I shall have to thank you later. Let us put an end to this. I love that piece of music. Right, now we have a healer. Ba-da-da-da-da-dum. Gosetsu Everfall.
For you, Father.
Right, got your number now. Oh. I shall stack with you, Gosetsu. Nope, no misguided eye for you. Let's have some battle voice. I sense something amiss.
Aha! Slicey dicey! Still hits quite hard.
The weave of a shinobi's power.
Power! Just walk straight through everything. Let's have that. I'll have to read that tooltip properly. Yeah, so it's a 6% damage increase for 15 seconds. Which you'll get naturally during the course of a fight. Gosetsu.
Tis but a scratch.
It's a good job I stacked with you, mates. Oh. No eye for you. Oh, I've let that freaking misguided retribution. Left sweep. Yeah, this isn't too bad. Well done, Gosetsu. I thought I'd screwed that up then. Phew. That was a fun fight. I enjoyed that. It's kind of a shame. What happens to these creatures, these people? A deceiver to the bitter end, but she is still a daughter of Doma. She will have a proper burial and her family's belongings enshrined with the others. Monkey. I have gathered you here today not to speak of the future, but to reflect on the past, to pay respects to loved ones fallen on the field of battle. In honour of their sacrifices, these sons and daughters of Doma shall be given a place here at the Swallow's Compass. Though they no longer walk with us in life, they walk with us in spirit. Pray never forget their bravery. The memories of their legacy give you comfort and strength. Moroya Matokawa, the aspiring painter. He was a man who saw beauty in all things, and one day would have become a renowned artist in Kugane. Matsue Jito, the warrior in training. He longed to become a samurai like his father and bring honor to his family. Suzushiro Kadakumi, the carpenter. A man wholly dedicated to his craft, who hoped to one day pass on his talents to his two loving children. And so on for the others that we haven't written. Oh. And lastly, Minato Shihogaki and her stepmother Kisei. Theirs was once a happiness to be envied. Minato's parents were murdered by Imperial soldiers, and after being rescued by the Confederacy, Minato was given into the care of the village of Isoi. Though she arrived with a broken heart, it was soon mended by the man who would become her husband, the son of Kisei, who herself had been born to Isari on winds of tragedy. Kisei was a child of the deep, born in Suinosato. For her gifts she was exiled, but with her courage and tenacity found a new home on the shores of the Ruby Sea. She was a devoted wife and mother, and though not related by blood, she loved Minato as if she were her own. That is how she lived, how they all lived, and how they should be remembered. Let your hearts swell not with sorrow, but with joy for their memory. Know that proof of their mark left on this world shall remain here, enshrined within the swallow's compass for all eternity. Let us still our voices, and in silence pray for their souls, that they may share in the peace we have found.
Traditionally, the royal mausoleum is reserved for the ruling clans, but I have no doubt Lord Kyan would approve of his son's decision.
Many tears were shed throughout the ceremony. Not for grief, but for relief, I think. Happiness, even. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting battle with a blasphemy as a prelude to the ceremony. At least now we may breathe easy, if only for a short while. The villagers have all returned home, and I believe it is time we did the same. That was very nicely done. The choice of music was particularly well thought through, considering, you know, what it means if you've done the MSQ. I'm not yet well versed in healing magics, but thankfully it was enough to be of some use to Lord Hien. Never in my wildest dreams did I foresee Gosetsu embracing the ascetic arts. We've held a national funeral and slain a blasphemy besides. A rather productive day, would you not agree? The former conscripts will be elated to finally return home. Speaking of returns, I think I speak for us all when I say your appearance at Swallow's Compass came as something of a shock. What of your injuries from training? Quite painful for some time, I assure you. Despite my best efforts to reclaim my former skills, my back and hips vigorously protested. I planned to sleep that I might be well rested for the morrow's hunt, but a voice called out to me. I was needed, so I grabbed my cane and ran as quick as my ailing body would allow. The cane suits you, Gosetsu, but your mastery of healing magics was a sight to behold. Almost as surprising as your resurrection following the fall of Doma Castle. I am still but a novice in dire need of training. It is my hope that I will be able to refine my ascetic arts during my next pilgrimage. So, you are leaving then? Worry not, Lord Hien. Should you find yourself in dire straits once more, I shall fly to your side. Not as a samurai, perhaps, but I will nonetheless give our enemies cause to tremble. And with that, I take my leave. Gosetsu. Though it may be years, if not decades, until we truly make peace with our past, we have turned a corner and begun to heal. We may look to the future, unburdened by grief ignored and sadness denied. The path ahead is ever fraught with peril, but we shall walk it with eyes unclouded, and with pride. You have done so much for us, for Doma. I wish there was more I could do for you. Nod. If I may ask one last favour before you leave, please inform our representative at Razatan that the blasphemy has been vanquished and the people of Doma are safe. With any luck, our experiences here will prove useful to other nations that yet grapple with these beasts. Leave it to me. Safe travels, Demajen, and may the Kami bless you. The people of Suno-Satu will be relieved to hear of recent events. I wonder what Mother and Father would say. Doman delegates. Lady Demajen, you are returned. What word from Doma? Stuff was done. The blasphemy is no more. That is most wonderful news. I must inform the other delegates at once. Thank you again for answering our summons. If another threat should rear its dastardly head, I pray we can count on your assistance again. We get all of those. You can now dye the job-specific gear for level 90 with physical range DPS. A new chapter of New Game Plus has been added. Achievement unlocked, More Than Loneliness. Complete the quest. Laid to rest. So, we've still got 2 more to do. We've got the magic range DPS. And we have got the tank one, which despite being the first job that I leveled, I haven't done. Because of course I haven't. I've done the Reaper one, so I've done the melee DPS one, I've done the healer one, and I have done the physical ranged DPS. This one is going to be tricky because the only job I've got is summoner. And, well, let's be brutally honest. I haven't got a freaking clue how to play summoner. You know, I've got the gear. I've got the gear sorted. You know, I've even got hotbars kind of laid out to an extent. I've got a bunkle, but I don't actually know how to play it. It probably won't make a difference for a huge amount of it because there tends to only be one like fighty bit, which will be at the end. But yeah, we'll have to see. On the subject though of the ranged stuff, I thought that was really nicely done. It was, you know, it was typical of the Endwalker stuff in that so much sadness and tragedy was there, compounded by the choice of musical accompaniment, which again, because of where it is played in the MSQ, just brings with it that wellspring of emotions. It was a lovely tale, you know, thinking back on the past, putting past wrongs to rights, putting past regrets to rest. We got a little bit of Yugiri with her parents. We got Gosetsu's job change. We got Heian in some way addressing some of the issues that he had with his own past. There were a lot of nice little flourishes and touches and callbacks, which I really appreciated. So that was the physical ranged DPS questline. Well, questline. It's taken 2 hours to do. Not bad going. Really? Not bad going. I expect the tank and the magic range DPS one to do the same. And then there is the new one that has been introduced in patch 6.1, which I will also be doing. So I probably still need to portion out 6 hours or so for this role quest stuff. Fortunately, the storylines are good, which, you know, to be massively appreciated. Hopefully you have enjoyed this stuff, folks. Do please let me know if you've done this before. What was your reaction to playing this? Were you as
slightly teary-eyed as I was in places, or are you all much more hardened to this kind of stuff than I am? Thank you very much for watching. Do leave a like below if you have enjoyed the video. Comment, subscribe, ring the bell, etc, etc. I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe, folks. Have a great day, and cheerio. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not click the like button and consider subscribing. Remember, you can ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, cheerio.